Morning.
Thank you, Thomas, for amazing fun time. I think that was really great. I think people had to think before they answer anything. So, good questions, really cool. Let's go to the first slide. I don't think that most of you would relate to the first slide because the way we had fun thing session, I don't think people would be sleepy more. Can we go to the next slide? Thank you. Yeah, so this is what typically I see faces of the people when they have the morning plenary. Probably they don't have enough energy, or they are too tired after a long party that they had last night. Next. Yeah, one more time. Yes, but then I don't think that this is how you are the only one who is feeling that. I think there are other MCPs. Next slide. They also feel the same, right? So I think this is a reality check that happened with the morning session. Now let's talk about growth that we all want to have in our life. So I feel it's very necessary that we all want to accomplish something. We all have ambitions, whether you are in school life, whether it's in your industry, profession, or we call it ISEC journey. Next. Yeah. So when I joined ISEC, I think after a point when I was in the EV term, I got clarity. So because initial you actually take time to understand what this organization is for, and probably once you are doing your LCB term, by that time you pretty much understand that how MC works, regional offices works, and probably AI. So by that time you would able to understand what is organization, how thank you guys. See. OGX, Alisa, I mean, OGX understood that's a portfolio, but maybe you wanted to apply for MCVP OGX or AIVP OGX, maybe. Yes, I feel that, I think most of us who are here would have cried, at one point of time in their ISEC journey. And I think we all had opportunity, to fail in ISEC. And I think this is the only organization where I felt the most secured place to fail. I think ISEC gives us a freedom to fail and not being judged. Great, guys, thank you so much for your response. So let's go to the next step. Right. So I want you to know that, guys, every day when you write your feedback, we actually go through that feedback, and we really want to make sure that your feedback are implemented as soon as possible. So I believe that earlier we used to have breakout sessions at different times for each question. So we are going to have at this time a sharing space where you will have a one full break space of 16 minutes where you are going to have a reflection space where you are going to share both the question that is given in the slide, and then you will share with your fellow MCPs. And I want you to know that this is a question that you can consider as an opportunity, as a reminder that you want to give yourself that getting more clarity. but at the same time, this is a starter condition that maybe you want to have, with your fellow MCPs, or sorry, fellow MCPs, because you also want to have a network. And I feel that, when you want to have a networking, or, you want to have relations, then it is very important that, you have a genuine base of conversations. So I think this base can allow you to have those conversations with together. Yeah. So we have two questions that you can see in the screen. Uh, I think that we'll have opportunity to share. Can we share this message in the MCPs group so that they can read the question and also answer?
Yes, it's here. Yeah.
Great. Thank you guys. So see you in 16 minutes and enjoy this time with your buddy. Thank you.
CC can break into pair, right? Okay, thanks, CC.
Guys, do you have any question or any clarity that you want to have in the question?
Yep, breakout is ready.
Back, people. I hope you had enjoyed these conversations with your MCPs, buddies. That's good. Yeah. So we already have the slide where I'm sure that there will be a lot of things that you will have learned, or probably understand from other MCPs. So let's have two MCPs who can come and actually share with everyone.
Let's invite Isabella.
Okay. So,
Great.
hi everyone. And uh, so I was I was partnered up with Yuya, and um, we have some comments, and like we both give up some plans about our academic life to continue our eyesight way. Yeah, for example, I changed my original career development path, and also my plans to do master just and suspend like for 1 to 2 years to continue my eyesight way. And you want to continue in design engineering, but this year he also suspend this year to for MCP role. Yeah, and we also agree on something like the reason why we choose MCP Life is because the major and the university will stay there; they won't go away. Yeah, so we can always go back to study. Yeah, we won't do MCP and go into the street without food or clothes or study. It's not going to happen. Yeah, so we will choose to be MCP first, and then we will continue other parts of our personal plans. Yeah. And also MCP role is a more dramatic and exciting role, much more much more exciting than maybe normal school life. Yeah, so that's part of the reason too. And another one of superpower for Yuya, he shared like it will give us the opportunity or the thrust to face your weakness. Yeah, to overcome your weakness. Otherwise, in my personal life, I wouldn't have the opportunity or the motivation to really do that. I would just stay in my comfort zone because it doesn't affect anyway. But in MCP, you will really amplify all the weakness you have, and you have to face them. You have to tackle them. Yeah. And for me, it's MCP life so sometimes I really like to talk into sharing, and I feel like too talkative. But the good things about MCP is you have to people have to listen to you. Sorry. Yeah. they have to take in what you said. So that's, I guess that's the good thing about MCP. Yeah, one of the superpowers. Thank you.
Thank you, Isabella. It was really nice insight. And we have another MCP, Sherry. You wanna share?
Yes, hello, I'm Sherry from Taiwan, and I especially want to share the second question. And me with my partner, we all think that as an NCP, we have the powers of change and innovation, yeah, and empowering others, because during SCP turn you can do lots of things you want, and you can create something from 0 to 1, yeah, to make some change for your entity. And you not only change the people around you, but also change maybe the situation you have. Yes, and also you can contact with lots of people, and maybe your own story and your own characteristic, or your motivation, your ideas for this entity can empower them, yeah, to be a better ISACer or have a better ISA journey, yeah, during their ISA term.
Thank you, Sherry. Let's go to the next slide. Great. So I think you can see there are 3 status written somewhere. So single, taken, and I'm sure you won't be able to read the last one. So that's a busy managing money, but how I put it as a busy managing ISAC. Can you go next slide? So I mean that's what typically a status that you want to have from MCP. So I think you always choose that I'm very busy managing MCP role, and that's why I'm proud to be an MCP. Guys, are you proud of to be an MCP? Yay! Yes, it's exciting, right? Let's go to the next slide. You got lots of powers. Next slide. Right, but as it says that the great powers comes with the great responsibility. So we also have responsibility. Next slide, please. Thank you.
I think means I'll be lagging. Just wait a second.
Yeah. Yeah, so with great power comes great responsibility. So I mean, being MCP is awesome thing, and you already know that why you chose to pursue for MCP over other opportunities that you had. Pretty much you would have let go your studies, some job, or maybe some other plans that you had, but you put those plans on a hold, and you wanted to give that this 1 year to this role, that is MCP role. And because you got a lot of powers, there are also responsibility that comes, because even Spider-Man also have the responsibilities, right? So let's go to the next slide. I'm talking about my MC team. So I mean, you all are now responsible for MC team, and pretty much I believe that MC teams are the team where you probably have more chances of getting your team member who are coming from very diverse background. So probably if you are a local MC, then you will see your members that are coming from different cities. So there is already a culture gap where you want to lead people, but they have a different beliefs. So diversity increases over here, and that's where it requires you to put more efforts to come on a common ground. So I want to share with you one of the challenge I would say that I had to go through during my MCP term in the first quarter. So I know that you guys are also doing this first 90 days CEO's role training. So I think this is also regarding how was my first 90 days, and pretty much I want or I wish that you don't repeat the mistake that I had in my first 90 days. So the action that probably that I was taking, or that we were taking probably in the organization, that or I believe that that's my I'm responsible for that, because this is what I was trying to put the culture, or attitude that we had in this MC team. So I always try to put highlight that organizations or everything. So you have to be very determined, you have to work very hard. Somehow we wanted to achieve so much, and we wanted to make ISEC great with the context. But I mean, let's see how it actually worked next. So it was kind of the environment that was building up. It was workaholic, that people were working hard, long hours. Next slide. Yeah. So because we started to have this culture of I mean, very determinations, work, and then growth is not negotiable. So we wanted to make sure that all the bottlenecks that we had in our organization. So we knew that we have a lack of presence in the market. We have lack bonding at LCs. The performance in terms of finances were not so good. Products are not doing good in the market. So I think these were all areas that we wanted to grow, and we made it very clear that growth is not negotiable. So we want to grow everywhere. Next. And pushing over inspiring. So I think this is something that I was not mindful. So you always go into one of extremes, and you forget of something. So I forget over that somehow I was pushing my team to their fullest capabilities, but it was not what I was supposed to do. I was supposed to inspire them, and not push them to do things. So this was these were, I mean, the three highlighted actions that I took during my first 90 days of the term. And let's see next slide, the results of those actions. So I could see that people were working for long hours. So hours were marked more, but productivity started to reduce. So we had to figure it out that what was going wrong, that productivity is going low. Next. PDPs were not very exciting. So I'm not sure, how many members, I mean, when you were MCPs, if you were getting, PDPs from your MCPs, your leaders. So personal development plan, I just want to make sure that it's still the same, that, you do with your mentorship, right? You do with your team member, and, you help them understand that, how they are growing every month. So I used to take personal development plans, with all my MC members every month, and even my LCPs. And I try, I realized that actually maybe I was very excited that, hey, that's PDP, and let's rock, we will have a growth plan. But actually my members, they were not that excited. So for them it was like, okay, I want to do it, so let's do it. But I mean, they were not really excited for the PDPs. And if you see in the picture, that why I put this picture, so this is a picture of analysis of one of my LCP in terms of PDP. So if you see on the y-axis, that's like -2, 1, 0, and so I mean, that's the energy level, or I would say, a piece that my LCP was having. And then if you see on the X bar, so that is the months. So that is March, April, May, June, July. So I asked my LCP, to point to rate the experience over a month. So how my LCP was feeling, maybe in the month of March, June. And then I connected the dots, and that's how this chart looked like. So my LCP had a very sharp up and down, back to back, in six months of period of time. And that's where I had to understand that consistency is something that is missing. So somehow, and maybe that's just an example of my LCP, but this is somehow a relatable situation with my MC members also, that how things were going up and down. So it was not consistent. And we don't have, so I mean, that also makes a point that probably we did not had enough time for adaptation. So I was pushing my team that okay, try to understand the reality, and get the best out of it, understand more from AI, regional office, and let's have more achievement when it comes to achieving those processes, TM processes, financial standards, GDPR compliance, all the things that were coming. And you want to make sure that your entity is growing, in all the metrics. But actually, we needed more time to adapt, and the time was not enough. Next slide. So these were some of the concerning results that I had. And then we had first quarter review meeting, where we we started rating. So we had at the beginning of our MC planning, we put some of the minimums that we wanted to have during our MC team experience. And one of that element was actually fun, that we want to make sure that throughout our MC experience we would have fun, a very enjoying exploring experience. But when we started reviewing that how good we feel about each element, fun was the element that that come to the lowest. So we get that realization that we don't have enough fun in the team. So that was something that we did understand. And another thing was excessive work pressure. So probably my team were feeling the pressure of work, because I was the one who pushing them to work more and achieve more. But I think that's where I realized after 1 quarter, after 90 days, I got to realize that probably I need to change the perspective or approach that how I want to lead my team. And probably yes, thank you. For the next slide. Yeah, so I took I had to take time that there is something that needs to be changed. So we had a space where we started open conversation. So I took my team outside of the city. We went into nature, and we spent half of the day. And then we had this space where we all sit together and chilling, and they just started talking. Let's talk that how we wanna go, so go beyond. And probably that's the time where I started to realize that the amount of control that I was taking over my team, or I was pushing them, maybe that was too excessive, because maybe they could have done by themselves. Next step. One more time. One more time. Okay, so till the time logistic happens, I think there is internet issue going on with someone who is managing the slides. So this was the space where I realized, for example, first 90 days of my term, I was giving so much importance to myself. So I was thinking that I'm responsible, I'm MCP, and I need to make sure that I'm keeping my team accountable. I'm having watch on them, they are doing their goal properly. But actually after this 100 days, I got to realize that probably this is not only my responsibility, it's a responsibility of the whole team. So if I would control them, then they would not have ownership for the role that they are having. So probably it's more about trusting them, and also letting them explore their ISEC journey. So I chose ownership over control after 90 days. And probably what I see the result after that, that was team started so I think that was very kind gesture of my team, because even after going through that 90 days where my team felt work pressure, they actually offered me a support, like emotional support. So they were being kind to me, they understood me, and they actually tried to also explain me that, man, it's completely fine that what happened, but probably let's see how we want to go beyond. So it's something that I realized, that being vulnerable with my team, I mean at that point of time was actually very beneficial for the organization, and also beneficial for my team experience. So this is something that I want to share with you. Next slide. And this is my team. Next slide. This is the amazing people. Yeah, so these are the beautiful people that were part of my MC team, and they all were coming from the different entities. So we were completely new, and I think probably that was one of the reason that maybe I could have given more time them to settle down and also understand the reality of the entity. But yeah, then I think I will just give another perspective. So I think one of the top priority that any MCP could have, that is having your MC team. If you take care of your MC team, they will take care of the whole organization. But after MC team, maybe other key stakeholders that comes that where you can play a huge role. That's your LCPs and probably alumni in a way, because they are still they were an ISECR once. So next slide. So what I started, what I felt that every time when I would have conversation with my LCPs, there would be a point where they would have a different perspective and the direction that that was coming from AI. So actually they never believed in AI. So they were like, no, we are awesome how we do in Estonia, and we don't need AI. I mean, we will just take care the way we do. So probably there was a gap of, I would say, of 5 years where they were not so much in touch. I would say that how they wanted to align with AI. So I think that's where we had always this a point of disagreement, that how they should actually try to adapt the direction that was coming from AI. But what I realized that instead of putting pause over negotiate, I mean, which is not working out, maybe go for the negotiation. So we never had a complete agreement, but we had that negotiation, that okay, you do this much, I will do that much. So we started doing that win-win situation where we will let them do their culture part to some extent, but we will also want them to do some part that is given from the AI direction. And I believe that problem is nothing but end of solution. So if you're still looking for solution, there won't be any problem that stay for longer. Next. Yeah, focus on why, not what they do. So when I used to interact with my LCPs and also sometime alumni, there were many I would say, like, events or situations where I feel that probably this is not the best thing that they should be doing, or it should happen in my entity. But then I had to get the clarity of why that why they are doing it. So I started to empathize more with them, that maybe there are reasons. So if you know the concept of 5 time why, do you know that concept, 5 time why? Where you go, yes, so where you actually go into root cause analysis, that why actually those problem exist. So I feel that was the concept that I learned from my MCP, Dima, from like he was MCP of Mongolia at the last. So when I was part of his team, I think he explained me this concept, and I got to learn, or and actually implement that concept in my MCP term. That okay, I should not look at the first reason that is coming, but I should go deeper, that why they are reacting in a way. And I think when I started approaching this manner, the problems were reducing, and the cooperation started to increase. Next slide. Great. So this is the next one more time. Thank you. Next slide. Yeah, so that was the video from one of the LC that I visited, and we were having roll calls. And at the end, how I want to conclude here, with great powers, great responsibility, that guys, you have this 1 year where you have a lot of options, or possibilities that you can do with your role. But at the same time, you have responsibility that you don't miss out on some of the people that take care. So try to be as humble as possible, and give people time to adapt to the situation. So I think patience is the key that will have a sustainable growth in your entities. Let's go to the next slide. Great. So one more time. So maybe you might see some of the MCPs from your entity in this picture. So this was a picture from IPM 2020. One more time. So let's talk about CEO's goal for RPM. I know I mentioned that in the last session that we are going to focus on the goals, and this is the last day, guys. Can you believe it? This is the last day of the conference, and guess what? I still can go and see that not a single MCP have achieved 100% or even 10% of their goal. Maybe they have not updated yet, but probably can we go to the next slide? But I really want you guys to know that this is the environment where you would feel more comfortable to reach out to your other MCPs, because after that you are going to have your own circle of hustles. You will have your own problems, so better this is the last day where you want to focus and check on your goal. So I'm not sure if you have updated in your tracker, but can anyone probably all of you can respond to this chat box if you have achieved less than 50% of the plan, or the goals that you had for coming to RPM, because it's the third day, last day. And if any of you that have achieved more than 50% of the goals, the line items that you mentioned in your goal. Great. So that's it, guys. Just keep this question in your mind, and I hope that when we go into the closing plenary, majority of you would have made progress in your goals, and you feel accountable for yourself. That's it for today. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, Maya. Can go to the next slide. Yay. Next, cool. Us again, and I will go through agenda yesterday. So this is the agenda yesterday change for this. You can wrap up all of your learning points and also review the goals if you achieve that through yesterday. If not, then coming to today. So we have the agenda for today called Born for This, and yeah, so give us feedback if you haven't give the feedback. Yeah, so appreciate everyone who gave the feedback yesterday. Yeah, and then today we have 2 parallel tracks. After this one, we'll have these sections. We have section called P Commission Management and MCT Management. So I will divide you guys, and I will have analyzing and budgeting from AI, marketing, risk management, and then coming to the afternoon, we have lead sections, activating leadership and acting sustainably. And then the last section called Spider-Man Homecoming, and we come to closing plenary with the chair. So we'll meet the chair this afternoon. Cool. Next one, because yesterday some of you write down for the feedback. So today the CC team will break you through. So you will have the section called LCP Management from May. The attendees will be Thomas, Nishat, Danny, Kanel, Chi, Sajana. And then MCT Management will be Yuya, Disha, and Alisa. For those who haven't filled the feedback form to choose, the CC will break you into the MCT Management. Cool. And next slide. Yeah, and then we invite CC to quick announcement about Sugar Cube. Just a reminder.
Yeah, thank you, Min. So when it comes to the sugar cubes, we have put a link in the Telegram group for the sugar cubes. I kindly invite everyone to create that link and put it in the Telegram group. I see some people who are attending here hasn't filled those. So please go to the Telegram group, the delegate group. There is a message where you can go through the link and create a link for you and put it in front of your entity name. So we kindly request to do it before lunch, so we can launch the Sugar Cube booklet as soon as possible. And we'll go to the next slide as well. Yeah, so as you know, we have launched the AP site as well. All the sessions which we did throughout the last 2 days are available on the AP site. So you can leisurely go to that site as well. And if you have missed anything, you can go through those sessions and get the maximum output of that as well. Yeah, thank you, Ming. Over to you.
Yay, thank you, CCP. Cool. And right now, CC will support you to break you guys into the parallel group. Yeah, but before that, I just want to introduce a little bit about Alpha C. So we have Alpha C here already. You can